okay, this is how we have to control people from this side of things. Now we have to like tap into this new generation. Like we've got sports companies ripping off our concepts, for example, that are run by billionaires. And even I think the thing that really surprised me recently was the royal family, the funeral of the Queen. I thought, no pun intended, but that whole thing was dead and buried. I thought that it was a thing that my generation would not necessarily care about, be impacted by, because they are so behind the times and they are so irrelevant to our day-to-day lives in the UK. And yet, the amount of people online who were sharing pictures of the Queen and all of that, and I was like, if I said to these people, what did she do that was so great that impacted your life in any way? Not a clue, but people just go with the flow. And that's the sort of thing that is surprising about this generation.
I think there was a buried value in the Queen that wasn't as evident a month ago, let's say, as it is now. You know, so one of the tenets of psychoanalytic idea, let's say, both from the Freudian and the Jungian perspective, is that there's a pull towards the missing opposite. And so imagine a culture is devoid of some sense that they actually need. So, for example, our culture is pretty devoid of a sense that responsibility is the counterpart of rights. So everybody clamors about rights, but hardly anybody talks about responsibility. And that doesn't work out because the rights of someone else are everyone else's responsibility. So you can't have rights without responsibility. So if you only talk about rights, half the conversation is missing. And the Queen, she's a very interesting person because she was very discreet. She very rarely shared her opinions. And so that's definitely missing in our culture. She was very dutiful. She had celebrity thrust upon her because, well, there was no reason for her to assume when she was young that she was ever going to be queen. And because she wasn't close enough in the succession line for that to be likely, and then it happened anyways. And then she's also been there for a very long time, which is interesting in a culture that values the short term. And she also managed to keep her family together. Now, of course, the family was fractious, but, you know, like, find a family that isn't fractious, good luck with that. And then she also stood for tradition and the British tradition, and she also stood for the English-speaking people and the Commonwealth. And that's all being attacked on grounds of colonialism, et cetera, and exploitation. But like, there's a genuine gold core to the English enterprise, especially with regard to such things as common law and individual rights and the dignity of the human being that shouldn't be thrown out along with the criticism. And so when the Queen died, people felt a loss of something they didn't even really know was there. And that loss was the call towards these more modest and responsible virtues that she embodied.